The lights at Soldier Field in Chicago were mercilessly bright, bathing the stage in a white blaze that bounced off leather jackets, studded belts, and raised horns. 45,000 voices rose as one, chanting the name of a man who had carried heavy metal on his back for nearly 5 decades. Ozzy! 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 The crowd was a living creature, waves of sweat and adrenaline pulsing through its veins. Fire shot from cannons at the side of the stage. Guitars screamed, and the earth shook beneath stomping boots. Fans who had grown old with him wept beside teenagers who had just discovered his legacy, bound together by riffs that seemed older than time itself. But somewhere, not far from the front, was a sound that didn't belong. It wasn't a guitar, or a drum, or even a scream of joy. It was small, frail, the voice of a child. 8-year-old Grace Morgan clutched the wheels of her chair with trembling hands. Her arms, thin and bird-like, shook under the weight of a poster board painted in bright blue letters. The sign wavered above her like a flag in the storm of bodies. Ozzy, this is my last concert ever. At first, no one noticed. She was too small, swallowed by a tide of leather vests and denim jackets patched with Iron Maiden skulls and Judas Priest flames. The crowd surged like an ocean, heads banging in perfect rhythm, beer sloshing from plastic cups. But then someone beside her stopped. A biker in his 50s with tattoos creeping up his neck froze mid-headbang. He read the words on Grace's sign. His lips trembled, and then he pointed. One by one, eyes began to turn. Grace lifted her chin, oxygen tube clinging to her cheek, and shouted into the storm. Her voice was cracked but clear. Ozzy, it's me! Grace, this is my last concert. The impossible happened. The music stopped. The drums silenced. The guitars cut like a guillotine into nothingness. The crowd didn't know what to do. 45,000 people, who only seconds before were animals of fire and fury, now stood in frozen silence. The sudden quiet was terrifying. Only Grace's voice remained, echoing through the stillness. Ozzy Osbourne, bathed in white light, shielded his eyes and peered into the void of faces. He'd seen thousands of fans, millions across decades. He'd seen tattoos of his face inked on people's arms, babies dressed in Prince of Darkness onesies, grown men sobbing when he touched their hands. But this was different. This wasn't worship. This was a goodbye. His knees buckled slightly. He grabbed the mic stand like it was a crutch. "What's your name, love?" His voice carried, rough with age and cigarettes, but softer than the crowd had ever heard it. The girl's reply shook even the giant speakers. "Grace Morgan! I'm 8 years old, and I love you." For a split second, even the pyrotechnics seemed ashamed of their fire. The stadium became a church, and its god was an 8-year-old girl. A ripple of emotion tore through the crowd. Hardened bikers bit their lips. A teenage boy who had been screaming obscenities minutes earlier dropped his beer. A mother clutched her son's hand tighter. The sign in Grace's hands fluttered as she lowered it, revealing a smaller line painted beneath the bold farewell. "Ozzy, can you sing Dreamer for me?" The Prince of Darkness looked away. His lips trembled. And then, against every instinct of showmanship, against the machine of lights, contracts, and schedules, Ozzy did something unthinkable. He sank to his knees. He looked right at her, and he nodded. Grace had been sick for as long as she could remember. Her lungs were frail, her heart weaker still, and her doctors said she wouldn't see her teenage years. Music had been her medicine, and Ozzy her healer. Every night, when the machines hummed beside her bed, she would play Dreamer and imagine a world where she was free. Free to run, free to breathe, free to be. That night, her dream became real. Ozzy gripped the microphone with both hands. He motioned to the band. The guitarist swallowed hard, his fingers trembling against the strings. The drummer, who had been pounding thunder moments before, raised his sticks like they were sacred relics. And then the first notes of Dreamer spilled into the night. The crowd roared, but not in chaos. This roar was reverent, a wave of love crashing toward a fragile girl who had become the soul of 45,000 people. Grace's lips moved with the words. She knew every lyric, every breath, every pause. Her eyes locked on Ozzy's, and for once, the legend wasn't performing for the masses. He was performing for one. Gazing through the window at the world outside, his voice cracked, not from age, not from strain, but from something deeper. Tears streaked black eyeliner down his weathered cheeks. He was no longer the Prince of Darkness. He was just a man, singing for a little girl who loved him. The audience swayed like a single body. Lighters flickered. Cell phone lights rose in trembling hands. The stadium became a sky of stars, each one burning for Grace. She lifted her hands as high as she could, fingers trembling in the glow. Her oxygen machine hissed, but her smile was brighter than the flames. When Ozzy reached the final chorus, his voice cracked into a sob. He turned the mic toward the crowd, and 45,000 voices carried the words together. "I'm just a dreamer who dreams of better days." Grace sang too, her tiny voice swallowed by the wave, yet somehow rising above it. For a moment she wasn't a patient. She wasn't dying. She wasn't weak. She was the center of the universe. And Ozzy, kneeling on stage, looked at her as though she had given him back something he thought he had lost long ago, his own dream. When the song ended, silence returned. No one clapped, no one screamed. The moment was too fragile for noise. Instead, tens of thousands of strangers wept together in the dark. Ozzy stood, hand over his heart, and whispered into the mic, "Grace, thank you for reminding me why I sing." And the legend of that night was born. The night after the show, the city of Chicago seemed quieter than usual. But Ozzy couldn't sleep. He sat by the hotel window, staring out at the city lights that shimmered like 1,000 restless souls. His ears still rang from the crowd, but louder than any roar was the echo of a child's voice calling his name. Grace Morgan, 8 years old, a fan who had turned an arena of 45,000 into a cathedral. Ozzy's reflection in the glass was almost unrecognizable to him. Gone was the larger-than-life icon. He looked like a tired man who had carried too much for too long. He muttered under his breath, almost like a prayer, "She reminded me who I was." The next morning, there was a knock on his hotel door. A stagehand handed him an envelope. Inside was a short letter, written in bright purple marker, uneven letters dancing across the page. "Dear Ozzy, thank you for singing my favorite song. I felt like I was flying. I don't know how many days I have left, but now I don't feel scared anymore, because I got to meet my dream. Love, Grace." Ozzy pressed the note to his chest. His hands shook so badly Sharon had to fold the letter for him, sliding it into his jacket pocket like it was made of glass. The days that followed were a blur. Grace returned home with her parents, her voice still hoarse from singing, but her spirit blazing brighter than ever. She told every nurse, every neighbor, every visitor the same thing. "Ozzy sang for me." Word spread quickly. Local news ran stories. Fans from across the globe sent gifts, letters and videos. Some prayed, some wrote songs, some simply said, "You've given us strength, Grace." And Ozzy, despite his tour schedule, made sure she wasn't forgotten. Quietly, without cameras, he arranged for a package to arrive at her house. A signed guitar, handwritten lyrics to Dreamer, and a small black leather jacket made to her size. On the collar was stitched one word, Angel. Grace wore it even in bed, refusing to take it off. But time was cruel. By winter, Grace's condition worsened. The hospital became her home, machines surrounding her like steel guardians. Her breaths came shorter. Her laughter, though still bright, was softer. Her parents tried to shield her from the truth, but Grace knew. She always knew. One night, when the world outside was hushed by snow, she asked her mother to bring her phone. She wanted to record one last video. Her cheeks were pale, her eyes sunken, but her smile never wavered. "Hi everyone, it's Grace. I just want to say thank you. I never thought people all over the world would care about me, but they do. And Ozzy, if you see this, I love you. Don't stop singing, because when you sing, people like me feel strong, even if we don't have a lot of time left." The video went viral within hours. Millions watched. Millions cried. For once, the internet wasn't divided by anger or noise. It was united by the voice of a dying child who had changed the Prince of Darkness himself. The news reached Ozzy while he was overseas. He sat in his dressing room, guitar across his lap, tears running down his weathered face. He whispered into the strings, "Hold on, Grace. Just hold on." But the call came only days later. Grace Morgan had passed away. She was 8 years old. Her parents said she went peacefully, wearing her tiny leather jacket, clutching the signed guitar Ozzy had sent her. In her final moments, she whispered only one word: dreamer. The world mourned, not just fans of heavy metal, not just lovers of rock, but people everywhere. Grace's story had crossed every boundary. Politicians mentioned her name. News anchors cried reading her letter. Concert venues across the country dimmed their lights in her honor. And Ozzy? He broke down. On stage at his next show, when the time came to perform Dreamer, he froze. The words caught in his throat. For the first time in decades, he couldn't finish a song. Sharon gently guided him off stage, the crowd singing the chorus in his place. 40,000 voices carried the words for Grace, their echoes rising to wherever she had gone. Weeks later, Ozzy visited Grace's hometown in secret. No cameras, no press, just a quiet man in black walking into a small cemetery. He found her grave, marked by a simple white stone, etched with a star. Beneath her name were words chosen by her parents. "She taught us all how to dream." Ozzy knelt, his body shaking. He placed a single black rose on the grave and whispered, "You gave me more than I ever gave you, love." And then he sang, softly, brokenly, just for her. "I'm just a dreamer who dreams of better days." The wind carried his voice through the trees. For a moment, it felt like Grace was there, singing along. In the years that followed, the story of Grace Morgan became legend. Fans told it like gospel. The night a child stopped a stadium, the night Ozzy Osbourne fell to his knees, the night Dreamer became more than a song. Charities were formed in her name, raising money for children with terminal illnesses. Musicians across genres, from metal to country, covered Dreamer in her honor. And every time Ozzy performed it, he pointed to the sky and whispered her name, Grace Morgan, the little girl who reminded the world that even in darkness, there is light. And so the story ends where it began, not with fire and noise, but with silence and a fragile voice that cut through it. An 8-year-old dreamer who reminded a rock god that music is not about fame or money or even legacy. It is about connection. It is about love. It is about the way a song can make a dying child feel alive, even just for one night. And if you listen closely, if you stand in a crowd, close your eyes and let the music wash over you, you might still hear her voice, faint but strong. "Ozzy, it's me, Grace. This is my last concert." Her last words became his eternal song, and somewhere in the quiet beyond the stars, an 8-year-old girl is still singing along. "I'm just a dreamer who dreams of better days." If Grace's story moved you, let her voice live on. Share this video so the world remembers her. Comment Dreamer below if you believe her song should never be forgotten. And don't forget to subscribe, because every day we bring you real stories that prove music can change lives forever.